Eugenics is as American as apple pie. This is Eugenics in the United States, Part 3. We're talking about miscegenation laws, and these miscegenation laws made even the Nazis blush. That's right. If you don't know what miscegenation means, that means the mixing of races, right? Specifically, we're talking about white people and non-white people. Why? Because eugenics is a tool of white supremacy, and while people don't talk about exactly what eugenics is today, and they don't profess their love for eugenics when we're talking about certain things in the United States, it is immediately traceable back to eugenics. So let's talk about the miscegenation laws. They're on the books immediately, 1600s, but they're reaffirmed in 1920s as the rise of eugenics increases, right? The idea is that if there are mixed race children, they'll have inferior intelligence and et cetera, et cetera. It's bullshit and it's a lie. As you move through the United States in the 1880s through the 1930s, you're going to find different types of miscegenation laws. There will be anti-Asian miscegenation laws, anti-indigenous miscegenation laws, of course, anti-black miscegenation laws. And there will also be miscegenation laws between the non-white American groups. And in 1883, the U.S. Supreme Court will uphold it and say, yeah, you know what, that's the right idea. In 1948, the California Supreme Court will overturn it with Perez v. Sharp at the state level. And then in 1967, it will be overturned by Loving v. Virginia, with the argument that, you can't control who people love. That is an infringement upon individual liberty, and you can't do it. It's illegal. It's not allowed, right? Same argument that will win Obergefell and Hodges. Now, the Germans see this 1927 miscegenation law in Virginia that re-ups on the fact that white and black Americans are not allowed to marry and they're not allowed to produce children, even though there's a ton of sexual violence at the hands of white people against black people throughout Virginia for all of eternity. However, they'll read it and they'll hear about this one-drop rule, and they'll hear about the brown paper bag tests and the way that the United States quantifies blood quantums, and they're like, that's a lot. That's confusing and we don't understand it, and Germans like organization and they like rules, so they say if you have one Jewish grandparent, that's enough. As a result of the Holocaust and the atrocities that the German government hands down on the Jewish people, among many other ethnic groups that they deem inferior, speaking about eugenics in the way that it was spoken about from the 1890s to the 1930s kind of goes by the wayside, but there are whistles and there are very important things that you should keep an eye out for even in 2025. We're going to talk about the anti-immigration laws that came around this eugenics period next, and then we're going to talk about things in 2025 that you should be looking out for. Follow me. Stick around.